and welcome to another bookish video. Today I want to jump right in because I have over 60 books to share with you in this massive haul. I don't know how this many books have come into my possession at one time, but I'm very excited to bring you guys this huge haul and show you all of them. However, before we dive into the books, I did just want to mention that today's video is kindly sponsored by Dossier. I have worked with Dossier so many times. I absolutely love them. If you're not familiar, Dossier is a luxury fragrance brand. This is my favorite one. As you can see, this is my second bottle and I've already made quite a dent in it. This is the Florential Vanilla scent and it smells exactly like Black Opium by YSL. It stays on my skin. It is vegan, it is well made, it is ethically made, the packaging is wonderfully made, and glass, so it is sustainable as well. It smells exactly like luxury fragrances. As I mentioned, this Florential Vanilla is my very favorite one, but I also have a new one to share with you guys as well. As we open up this adorable packaging, we have Spicy Mimosa here. Let me just give it a sniff for ya. Oh my God, stop. This is giving my Florential Vanilla a run for its money. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. And it is modeled after Jo Malone's Mimosa and Cardamom. I think this is a cologne, like technically, but it's unisex, you know? I love more musky, like spicy scents. So I like that they have, you know, more unisex scents on there as well. And of course, Dossier's whole deal is they do not want you to have to break the bank to smell like a bougie luxury queen. So this perfume that's originally like hovering around the $150 to $200 mark, which is insane, on Dossier's website, all of these luxury fragrances are between like $29 and $49. Can you believe that? I cannot. It still blows my mind to this day, even though I've been working with them for so long. You do not have to break the bank to smell like the luxury fragrances you love. I will, as always, link Dossier down below so you guys can go check them out and get yourself a fragrance that you've been looking for a fraction of the price. Thank you again to Dossier for sponsoring. Now let's go ahead and dive into the books. The first couple books I want to talk about are the one that I'm currently reading and actually the second book in the series as well. I am currently reading Neon Gods by Katie Robert, and I'm freaking obsessed with this book. It is a Hades and Persephone retelling. It is a like Greek mythology, urban fantasy romance. So there's a lot of smut in here, but there's also some really cool like urban fantasy world building that's a little bit different from me, but I'm really loving it. And Hades and Persephone are both depicted as bisexual characters in this book, and it's very casual rep, which I like even more than like outspoken representation. Just the fact that we can just casually say like, oh yeah, I haven't felt this way about a romantic partner since my girlfriend, as Persephone is talking to Hades. Like, I love that kind of casual representation, and the smut is so good in here. Honestly, this might be a new favorite for me. I only have 70 pages left, and I'm definitely going to binge the rest of it after I finish filming this video. And right after, I plan on jumping into Electric Idol, which is the follow-up. And this is set in the same world, and we're following Persephone's sister, Psyche, and her romance with Eros. There's also a third book that comes out around my birthday, and I already pre-ordered it. I'm so excited. So I will definitely be reading that one in June. And that one follows Achilles, Patroclus, and Helen of Troy. All three, it says. So I don't know what we're gonna be getting in that one, but I am excited for it. Staying on the kind of fantasy, romance, Greek mythology train, because apparently that's my new thing. Totally weird, totally different from me, I don't know. But I also ended up picking up The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller when I was at Target the other day. One of my best friends in real life read this book and she absolutely loved it. And of course, it's so popular here on BookTube. So once I got like my real life friend telling me to read it, I'm like, okay, it's one thing for the book community to tell me to read something, but when my real life bestie is telling me, I pretty much gotta do it. And this is the love story between Achilles and Patroclus. It's set during the Trojan War, I believe, and it's like a fictionalized story with like actual historical elements, like historical, like it's mythology, but you know, we don't know if it like really happened, but it's based on the story of the Trojan War, and I am very excited to get into this. I might do a TikTok made me read it vlog where I read a bunch of TikTok hype books. So expect that one to be in there for sure. Next up, we have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is a huge chunk of a book. It is a World War II historical fiction. People have said this will destroy your life. This will make you sob and cry. And I really like Kristen Hanna's writing. I know this isn't my typical genre, but I'm excited to try it out. Next up, we finally have our first thriller of the haul, and that is Right Behind You by Lisa Gardner. I've been wanting to try out Lisa Gardner for a while now. I've been hearing, talk of her thrillers. I've never read from her, and I got this one for $1 at Goodwill, so I figured this would be the one that I would try. It's obviously a domestic thriller, and it's following this girl who her brother was convicted of killing their father. He goes to prison, or like juvie, because he was a child. She gets adopted out to like a foster family or something, and now he's getting out of juvie, and she's trying to figure out, is he a hero? Is he a killer? All she knows for sure is that he's back. Very ominous. It's giving a little bit of Lucinda Berry, a little bit of Lisa Jewell. I like those fucked up kind of family dynamics. Throw a murder mystery on top of it, and it sounds like it's made for me. Next up, I have Black Girls Must Die Exhausted by Jane Allen. And this one was actually influenced. I was directly influenced by an influencer. This I got because of Gabby Reeds. She really, really liked this one, and she just read the sequel and she liked that one as well. It's supposed to be a really character-driven story. It's just a contemporary about this character as she kind of figures out her life. She doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life. It says she doesn't have a plan, but she has a checklist for the life of her dreams that is underway. And we kind of follow her in this contemporary story as she figures life out. I figured it would resonate with me, as I am a person in her 20s who is trying to figure things out. And I really love character-driven stories. So hearing that this got a great review and hearing those descriptors, I think I'm really gonna enjoy this one. Next up, I have The Night She Went Missing by Kristen Bird, and this is a debut thriller, and it follows the disappearance of a high school student. She is very smart, very bookish, very responsible. She goes to a party her senior year and is seen leaving with the star football player. Then she is never seen again. And all the mothers in the neighborhood are suspecting who did it, what happened, and they're kind of turning against each other and each other's children. So it's definitely like domestic thriller gossip vibes. Everybody's peeking out their windows in the suburbs, which I love thrillers like that. So I'm super excited to be reading this in an upcoming vlog this month. I also have a few more here that are going to be featured in that vlog, so I'll just go ahead and go through all of them. The next one is Insomnia by Sarah Pinborough. This is my Patreon book club pick for the month of May. So if you want to be a part of my book club, the link down below is always there. Please join. We are having so much fun, and our book club picks slap, and all the gals in there and our one resident guy are so sweet. So we're having a blast over there. But this one is about a woman who watched her mother fall apart and just like give into madness after she turned 40, and now she herself is about to turn 40, and she's scared that she will never be able to sleep again, just like her mother, and go mad. I really love Behind Her Eyes by the same author, so I'm hoping this one's gonna have another crazy twist, and I'm gonna love this one as well. Also in that vlog, I will be reading This Might Hurt by Stephanie Roble. This is a book about two sisters who are trapped in a cult and they're trying to get out of it. I've heard some pretty good reviews of this, and I've never read from this author, but I think Darling Rose Gold, which she wrote, got some really good reviews as well. It's a thriller. It has a map, which I love books with maps, so I hope I love this one as well. And the last thriller that will be featured in that vlog is Blood Sugar by Sarah Rothschild. This sounds like the perfect book for me. It is also the most beautiful cover that I have. I think out of this whole haul, this one is my favorite. And this one follows a girl who is described as a bookish, cat-loving therapist. So she's very sweet, very unassuming, and she actually is secretly a killer. It's giving Joe Goldberg vibes because we're following her perspective as she's being interviewed in the wake of the disappearance of her husband. So people think that she killed her husband, but it says in the synopsis that she actually didn't. So she has to prove her innocence in her husband's disappearance without the police catching on to the other people that she actually did kill. Next up, I have Fierce Kingdom by Jen Phillips. I just read this in a horror vlog that is going to be coming next, I think in a few days. That will be going up after this video, and this is a super fast-paced, like breakneck, heart-pumping pace thriller that follows a mother and her young son as they get trapped in a zoo during an active shooter situation, and it just goes over how they survive, if they survive. The whole book takes place over 3 hours. It's amazing. I also picked up Butter by Erin Jade Lang, and this is a YA horror, and it's supposed to be really disturbing. It's about a kid who gets made fun of in school for being fat, so he decides he's going to kill himself in the most apt way possible. He decides to suicide by eating himself to death, and not only does he decide to do this, but he decides to kind of like get back at the bullies by doing it on a live stream. I have no idea. This sounds absolutely crazy. I cannot wait to review this for you guys. I also have Twice Shy by Sarah Hogel. This is a rom-com, switching the vibe up massively. This girl inherits a house from, I think, like her grandmother or something like that, her great aunt. And when she shows up to claim her inheritance and kind of look at this house, see what's going on, she realizes that she actually co-inherited this house with another guy, and they have to restore it together, and throughout the book they fall in love. I've heard that this rom-com is just laugh out loud funny and adorable. I figured it would be perfect for the spring summertime, so if I ever just need a light read to break up the horror, I'm definitely gonna be turning towards this one. I also picked up The Fear by Natasha Preston, and I know what you're thinking. Hailey, you're crazy, you're ridiculous, you know you hate Natasha Preston, why are you doing this to yourself? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I really don't. It's just, her premises sound so intriguing and they always let me down, but you know what? At the very least, this book is going to give me some content. If I end up hating it and ranting about it, it'll be great content for y'all. So this book follows this like viral trend that starts going around this high school where people share their biggest fear on social media. But everyone thinks it's a joke until kids start turning up dead and they are killed using their biggest fear against them. In that same order on Amazon with The Fear, I also got Do It For Yourself. This is written by Kara Katruzala and illustrated by Tessa Forrest. It is a like motivational journal kind of thing. You read these little blurbs and you also like fill out things. It's very aesthetically pleasing, and I just was looking for like a motivational journal thing. I almost got the journal that goes along with the book Untamed by Glennon Doyle, but I think I like this one just a little bit better. So kind of an interesting little thing, but I thought I would show it because it is a book. So hence, I will show it in the book haul. Another one that I ordered from Amazon, I know, shoot me, kill me dead, sue me, whatever you want to do, was Audition by Ryu Murakami. And this is a super short horror book that follows a guy who lost his wife, but he's ready to get back on the dating scene. He's nervous though. He doesn't want to just have a shot in the dark. So he has his friend who works in the film industry stage an audition for a fake movie that isn't actually happening. They just want to audition girls to be this dude's new wife. And I don't want to spoil my thoughts on this book because I have controversial and extreme thoughts on this book, so just wait for the vlog. You'll see in a few days. I also impulsively picked up at Costco the new Jennifer Weiner. It is called That Summer, and this is, first of all, a perfect little beachy read for me this summer, but it also reminds me a lot of Big Summer by Jennifer Weiner, which I really enjoyed a couple summers ago. It is basically feeling like it starts out as a contemporary and turns into a thriller, which is exactly how Big Summer was. Basically, this woman is kind of living this mundane life. She's stuck in a rut, and she ends up mistakenly receiving another woman's emails. And this woman just feels like she is living, she is sophisticated, she is glamorous, she is everything this boring bitch wants to be. So she ends up engaging with this person in a kind of creepy, like stalkery way. But then it turns out like it was all coordinated, like it wasn't an accident that she's receiving these emails. So like there's a mystery involved there. It's not just a contemporary. I don't know. This is definitely going to be more of like a beachy little pool read, but I'm excited for the spice of it all. Like if there's a mystery in there to kind of like break up the monotony of a contemporary read, I'm down. I have another contemporary here. It is called Pretending by Holly Bourne. And the tagline says, "Why be yourself when you can be perfect?" This premise sounds so good. It is a like feministy vibe, kind of contemporary kind of romance. This girl basically gets fed up with online dating because no guys are liking her for who she is. And she feels like you have to just be this manic pixie dream girl next door vibe woman if you want anyone to genuinely care for you. So she makes this profile called Gretel and she starts pretending to be her on dating apps, and it becomes much more fun to date, especially once she reels in the unsuspecting Joshua. Finally, April is the one in control, but can she control her own feelings? And as she and Joshua grow closer, how long will she be able to keep pretending? Jumping back into horror, I also have One Bloody Thing After Another with probably the coolest cover ever by Joey Cameo. I have no idea. This is a super short, weird, speculative horror. It is dry, it is funny. When I say dry, I don't mean like boring. I mean like very dry humor, and I absolutely loved it. For full thoughts, watch the upcoming horror vlog, and a couple more that I also featured in that vlog are You've Lost a Lot of Blood by Eric LaRocca, which is another weird, short, speculative horror with a book within a book trope. And the last one in that vlog is For the Sake of by Judith Sonnet. This one is a super extreme horror novel that asks the question, how far will you go for the sake of your child? This one gave major Survivor vibes. If y'all took that recommendation from me and you enjoyed it, you would definitely enjoy this one as well. But beware, it is very, very intense. Jumping back into romance, I have I Hate You More by Lucy Gilmore. This is a hate to love contemporary romance around a vet. I think this guy's a veterinarian and this girl is like bringing in puppies or something. Okay, yeah, so this girly is about to show a dog in a dog show, and she is falling in love with Spencer Wilson, who is a veterinarian and a judge for the dog show. Spencer advises Ruby to quit the dog show while she still can, but she's determined to show the stern, broody-eyed judge she's more than just a pretty face, and she's capable of having a dog in a dog show. I love dogs. I love dog shows. I religiously watch all the dog shows. Me and my mom even rewatch dog shows when we're bored, so this is the perfect romance for me. I also have The Library of Lost Things by Laura Taylor Namey. And this is a contemporary about a woman who is very, very comfortable living in the world of books, but experiences a lot of anxiety living in the real world, navigating work, dating, social interactions, anything like that. So she sounds a lot like myself, and we just follow her as she learns to open herself up to new experiences outside of books and how she copes with her anxiety. It sounds like it's gonna have some great anxiety rep. Another contemporary, which, wow, I did not realize how many contemporary books I had in this haul, but apparently I went contemporary crazy. I have Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I absolutely loved and adored Normal People, and I'm super excited to dive into this one. The adaptation is going to be coming out on Amazon Prime in just a week or so, just like a little bit over a week. So I'm definitely going to be reading this one this month and watching the adaptation. Follow me on Instagram if you want to, keep up with my thoughts on that. I will definitely be sharing how I feel about the book and the adaptation on my stories, as I do for most of the things that I consume throughout the month. Another beautiful cover here, we have The Mary Shelley Club by Goldie Meldovsky. This is kind of like a dark academia, horror, thriller vibes. It follows this group of students at a private school who have this elite secret society called the Mary Shelley Club, and to join you have to be initiated by like facing your biggest fear or something like that. Yeah, there's like little tasks you have to do known as fear tests, and apparently the fear tests escalate and it takes a life of a student. So they're trying to figure out how that happened. Is it part of a bigger conspiracy? I don't know. She's kind of chunky for me, but I've heard very, very good things, which is why I immediately ran to Pango and bought it. Another big old chunk of a book that I got off Pango is The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. All 3 books are in this one absolutely massive book. This is another one that has an adaptation coming out super soon. So I think I'm going to be reading this one in June by the pool, so I can read the entire series before the adaptation comes out on, I believe, Hulu. I think this one's coming out on Hulu. I love To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, so I'm hoping I love this series just as much. I also finally picked up A Stranger in the Mirror by Liv Constantine. I love this thriller author duo. They wrote one of my favorite domestic thrillers of all time, which was The Last Mrs. Parrish. And this is kind of giving I Found You vibes. I Found You by Lisa Jewell. It's giving that. It's about this woman who is in a car crash, and I guess she lost her memory. She's fine physically, but she lost her memory, and she somehow ended up away from her fiance. So her fiance is looking for her, but she ended up in this other life with no memory of the fiance that she left behind. I don't know. The synopsis is honestly very, very confusing, but I know that there's a memory trope kind of issue in here, and I love unreliable narrators with memory issues. So hopefully this one works out for me. I also have some nonfiction. First up, we have The Defining Decade by Meg J. And this is a nonfiction book about how to really embrace your 20s. Obviously, I'm smack dab in the middle of my 20s right now, so I just want to immerse myself in literature about the defining decade of my life. that's no pressure at all, right? The other nonfiction I have is Blue Like Jazz by Donald Miller. And this is kind of a non-denominational or there's no one religion through the lens of viewing religion, if that makes sense. Like, it's like picking apart Christianity and the way you think about Christianity through a non-religious lens, which I think is really cool and I'd love to hear more about. This was recommended to me by one of my real life friends, so I'm excited to get into it. Next up, I have Tears of Tess by Pepper Winters, and I think this is like a Stockholm syndrome thing. I believe like this woman is kidnapped on her vacation. Kidnapped, drugged, stolen. She is forced into a world of darkness and terror. She evolves from a terrified girl to a fierce fighter. Oh, okay, so it's not Stockholm syndrome. I've heard this is like has some romance elements in it, and I thought it was like her and her kidnapper, but apparently it's her and her man's who she was stolen from, because it says, can Brax find Tess before she's broken and ruined, or will Tess's new owner change her life forever? Kidnap vibes, scary. Next up, I have Ask the Passengers by A.S. King. And this is a YA story about a girl who is questioning her sexuality. She has a crush on her female friend, and she doesn't feel comfortable sharing anything about that to her family and friends. So she lays in her backyard, looks up at the planes passing by, and asks the passengers. I think this is going to be a very introspective contemporary, and obviously I love reading things about sexuality, so I know I will love this one. I actually have another Sarah Hogle. I haven't read anything by her, but apparently I just decided to pick up both of her books on a recent trip to Half Price. And this one is called You Deserve Each Other. I think it is about a woman who is preparing to marry her fiance, but they kind of realize that they don't like each other anymore. So they start like not taking the wedding planning and stuff seriously, and like acting like they're gonna call it off and break up. But then like throughout the process, they find out they want to be together. I don't know. I've been very resistant to reading this book because that premise just sounds so fucking weird, but people love this. So many people have told me that I will love it, so hopefully I do. Next up, I have The Wife by Alafair Burke. And I got this one on super sale for $2, and I picked it up because I've never read from Alafair Burke before, and I would love to try out another new thriller author. Well, she's not new, she has a lot of books actually, but I just want to test her out and see if I like her writing style, because then I am going to do a little dive into her backlist. And this one is a domestic thriller that follows a husband and wife, and the husband has these allegations come out against him. He's a professor, and some of his students start accusing him of sexual assault, and the wife stands by him. But as more and more women come out, she kind of has to decide what to do in this situation. It seems like a moral dilemma. Who the bleep did I marry? Like those kind of situations. I have high hopes. I also have a YA thriller. I know, just stick with me here. Suicide Notes from Beautiful Girls by Lynn Weingarten. I actually have heard this compared to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I do love that series, so I'm hoping it's going to be comparable. It's about a girl who believes that her best friend, who everyone says suicided, she doesn't believe that she actually suicided. She believes that she was murdered, so she sets out to prove that she did not do that to herself and find who really killed her. I also picked up a couple books that I remember from my childhood, because I would like to do a vlog revisiting my favorite books from childhood. I know that like kind of video was popular a while ago, but I never got around to it, and I still have been wanting to do it. So I do have the Molly Moon series that I got a little while ago that I'm definitely going to be reading in that video. But I also picked up The Click by Lizzie Harrison and Saving CC Honeycutt by Beth Hoffman, which will also be featured in that vlog. I also ended up picking up A Nearly Normal Family by M.T. Evertson. And basically, the young teenage daughter, I believe she's like 15, in this family is accused of murdering a full-grown man, which is honestly iconic, but it puts the family in this like position of strife, like, will it break them kind of thing. There's this shocking murder accusation that tests a nearly normal family, and like all the people in the family have their own issues. It's like a moral dilemma. I have heard really great things about this one, and I'm excited to read it. Yet another thriller, I have The Whisper Network by Chandler Baker, and this is a kind of Me Too movement inspired thriller about a really toxic, horrible CEO and all the women at this company who rise up against him. Oh, I lied. I actually do have one more nonfiction. We have The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. I love Brene Brown. I love reading about her psychological research. She mainly focuses on women and the shame and insecurity that we tend to feel that is put on us by society. So I would love to dive into my own perfectionism through this book. Next up, I have Sex and Vanity by Kevin Kwan, and I am obsessed with this cover. First of all, beautiful. This is the author that wrote Crazy Rich Asians, and it seems like this is a standalone, but it's very, very similar to that series. It follows a woman who is about to be a part of an arranged marriage. I believe she like has this fiance that is dictated by her family in some way, or she was like, if it's not arranged, she was like very encouraged to be with this guy. But this other guy who she had met on vacation years ago, she keeps running into him and she feels like she might need to go with him. And I know that this is gonna have all the like bougie rich people drama, all of the opulent vibes, which is what I'm living for. So hopefully this is as good as Crazy Rich Asians and I have like the same opulent moment reading it. Yet another contemporary. We have Queenie by Candice Carty Williams, and this is very much sounds like the exact premise of Black Girls Must Die Exhausted, except it takes place in the UK. So our main character, Queenie, is a Jamaican British little lady, and she's just trying to figure out her life. She's in a spiral, and it's a character-driven novel about finding out who you want to be in your 20s. Next up, we have a book that sounds so freaking charming, and that is The Gunkle by Stephen Rowley. It follows this guy who is a gunkle. He's a gay uncle, and his niece and nephew tragically lose their parents, so he has to take them in, and it's supposed to be really funny, really charming, just about this gay man who takes in these little babies and teaches them the life of slaying. I don't fucking know. Next up, I actually have a book that was so kindly sent to me by Billie Jean Walker. Thank you so much, Billie, for sending me Running Wild by K.A. Tucker. Y'all know how much I love the Simple Wild series, and this is the 4th book. It's kind of a spin-off because we do not follow Calla and Jonah, who are the main couple in the series. We follow another kind of side character and her romance throughout the book. I also have another couple books that were sent to me. I have a dark romance duet that was sent to me by the author, so thank you so much, Emily A. Myers, for sending me this duet. We have The Truth About Unspeakable Things and Bound by the Unspeakable. Basically, it sounds like this girl had gone through a horrible traumatic event, and she is breaking up with her partner, and then this guy moves next door to her, and she's risking everything to protect her newfound happiness and opening up her heart to the possibility of love after betrayal. Will Emma overcome her trauma and have her second chance at love, or will her past destroy her and everyone she holds dear? Oh, I just love dramatic dark romance with trauma rep. Of course, I will let you guys know when I review these if the trauma rep is accurate and backed by this therapist. Next up, we have another god dang contemporary. I cannot believe I bought this many contemporaries. What was I thinking? I was just in a contemporary mood, I guess. But I have Sweet Bitter here by Stephanie Dandler, and this got turned into a series. A lot of people in my real life like this book. I got it for $1, so I figured why not? I love reading stuff that have adaptions and comparing them, so I might as well jump on the sweet bitter train, although I think this is gonna be pretentious as fuck, but whatever, we're gonna try our best. If I DNF, you know, it was $1. It's not that big of a deal. But it basically follows this girl who is a server in New York at this like really elite restaurant, at the most expensive restaurant. And it's just following her life. I don't fucking know. I also picked up We Were Never Here by Andrea Bartz. And this follows two girls who get themselves into a sticky situation on vacation. I think they like accidentally kill somebody or something. Yeah, they kill a dude in self-defense, and they go home. They're like, shh, we're not gonna talk about it. We're gonna keep that secret forever. That's one we're taking to the grave. And then they end up going on another like BFF cutie vacation, and the same thing happens. So one of the friends is like, shit, this is a pattern that feels like it's repeating itself. I think this girl over here, my bestie, she might be a murderer. And I've heard this one get really great reviews, so I'm excited to jump into it. It also seems like very vacation vibes and perfect for summer. Next up, I have Tuesday Mooney Talks to Ghosts by Kate Raculia, something like that. And this one is kind of giving me like Knives Out vibes. It is a fantasy-ish kind of book. It's more magical realism. Basically, this billionaire dies and he leaves like a series of puzzles that you have to solve to get to like his fortune that he has left behind for anyone who solves the puzzles. And our queen that we're following, Tuesday, is like an introvert. She just likes to sit at home and do puzzles. And so she's like, I think I can do this. I think if anybody can solve these puzzles, it's me. So she sets out to do that, and it takes her with a cast of dreamers on a treasure hunt through a citywide, beautiful adventure. Sure, why not? I also picked up another cozy mystery because I liked Finlay Donovan and that series so much. I got Grave Reservations by Sherry Priest. And this is basically a funny, cozy mystery about a psychic who gets kind of pulled in by the police department to help them solve cases. I also have Best Day Ever by Kara Rauda. And I know some of these have like the shiny, weird like library covers. It's because they're former library books that I got either secondhand from my recycled reads shop at my library, or that I got on Pango, and it just happened to be like an old library edition. But this is a thriller that follows a husband and wife as they go on this anniversary trip to have the best day ever. Little do they know that the other partner has set them up to be killed. I don't know how that's gonna work, but it's intriguing to me. Next up, we have A Stranger on the Lake by Kimberly Bell. And this follows a woman who her husband seems to get himself in situations where women are drowning around him a lot. And she starts to think that maybe this is not a coincidence and her husband is killing drowning women. So it's like a who the fuck did I marry kind of story, kind of like the one I talked about earlier. Interesting. Also, I love the lake vibes, like summer vibes. This is something I can read by the pool, and I'm sure you've noticed that's a theme with a lot of these. I also have American Kingpin by Nick Bilton, and this was 100% influenced by Caroline Johnson, one of my BookTube besties. She loved this one. I'm pretty sure it was her top favorite book of 2021. And it is a nonfiction true crime account of the making of the Silk Road, which is like an illegal marketplace on the dark web where you can buy things like drugs, money, why would you be buying money? Drugs, guns, people, organs, etc. I also have Last Seen Alive by Claire Douglas. And this follows a woman who is trying to escape an abusive relationship, but the thriller vibes really come in strong when she thinks she's escaped and someone is sending her like anonymous correspondence that they actually know who she is and that who she was trying to escape from in her previous life. It's kind of giving Never Let You Go by Chevy Stevens vibes. I love that book. Hopefully Hopefully I love this one as well. And then the last book of the haul, we are finally here, is The Violence by Delilah S. Dawson. And this sounds so intriguing. First of all, I fucking love this cover. I love it. And it sounds so intriguing. It's also about a woman in an abusive relationship. And the kind of unique speculative element to this book is that there's a disease, like a pandemic happening in this book, and it's called the violence. The actual disease is this violence that overtakes you and make you kill people. So the wife who's being abused pretends to have this disease, the violence, so she can like have a defense for killing her husband, but maybe people find out. I don't know. It sounds so good. It is huge. It is such a chunk, but I'm so excited about the concept that I don't even care. So that is my entire huge, massive book haul. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to this point, don't forget to like this video if you liked it, subscribe to my channel, and check out Dossier down below. And don't forget to read a book and go to therapy this week. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.